This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Curd. I welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, January the 10th, 40 years ago, in the year 1982, there was two key conference championship games in the NFL. The first one was the AFC title game played what they call the Freezer Bowl. If you want to find out about the Freezer Bowl and what happened, I did a video on it. I did the January 10th video in last year on the Freezer Bowl. So check that out in the description below. And then you got yourself the NFC title game between the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. It was a huge game. Anyway, the playoffs were huge and all that. The 81-82 playoffs. As I said, the Bengals won the AFC Championship game and got to Super Bowl 16, which I will talk about at the end of this video. Anyhow, San Fran and Dallas were 1-2 in the NFC. Dallas was 12-4, San Fran was 13-3. Only the Eagles were the only other team in the NFC to have double-digit wins. Tampa won the NFC Central with a 9-7 mark and was given the 3 seed, obviously. So, after the Giants beat Philadelphia in the one-game playoff, in the wildcard playoff, they would fight San Francisco. Obviously, because San Fran and the Giants were on the opposite end of the seeding. The 5-seed Giants got taken care of by the Niners, 30-24 the previous week. Dallas would crush Tampa in Divine Powder, 38-0, to set up the 82 game at Candlestick Park. One of the rarities is that Vin Scully was the play-by-play guy for CBS. You were thinking about Madden and Summerall, but they weren't. I don't know why Madden and Summerall weren't there. Because it was Vin Scully alongside Hank Strom doing the game. I think they were saving Summerall and Madden for the Super Bowl 16, which they did for CBS. And remember, CBS had the NFC games from 1956 to 1994 before Fox swiped them. Anyway, San Fran and Dallas were battling each other to nail. On the opening drive for the Niners, Joe Montana threw some great passes, but threw a touchdown to Freddie Solomon to make it 7-0. Dallas got a touchdown. Dallas got a field goal from Raphael Septien after Danny White did some good moves too. Remember, this was a couple years after Staubach retired. So anyway, after a terrible fumble by the Niners, Danny White threw a touchdown pass to Tony Hill to make it 10-7 Cowboys. San Fran had a chance to score, but was picked off in the end zone by Everson Walls. But Montana threw a touchdown pass to Dwight Clark to make it 14-10. Dallas had a run of an 80-yard drive. Three plays after a terrible pass interference that should not have been called. Tony Dorsett got a touchdown run to make it 17-14. And that was the end of the half. Dallas up 17-14. All that. After both teams threw interceptions, Johnny Davis, the running back, scored to make it 21-17. Septien would kick a field goal to make it 21-20. And then, after a terrible fumble by San Fran, they got a touchdown pass from Danny White to Doug Cosby to make it Cosby C-O-S-B-I-E, 27-21. And Danny White couldn't do anything. The weird thing was that Danny White was actually the Dallas punter, so he punted it. And San Fran was down to it. They were at their own 11 with 4:54 left, but all their timeouts. So Montana went through a drive. They got lucky on an offsides penalty against Cowboys that got 5 yards in a first down. Before the 2-minute warning, Montana would throw a pass. And then he threw Solomon, Clark, Solomon, and the Niners called a timeout on the Dallas 12. Montana tried to go into the end zone, but Solomon missed the catch. On 2nd and 10, they ran the ball for 6 yards to the Dallas 6-yard line, setting up the 3rd and 4, and what was called the catch. Montana, Clark, and Solomon were thinking about all this play. The play was officially called change left slot sprint right option. And it was basically a quick pass to Solomon. And Solomon scored on that same play. And Montana was supposed to roll to his right and find Solomon. And all that. But Clark was lined up near Solomon. Kind of a pick play. However, Solomon slipped running this route. And Clark went to the back of the end zone. The Cowboys went with a pass rush and almost got him. Montana was backpedaling from Tall Jones, Larry Bethea, and D.D. Lewis. However, Montana would throw a high pass to the back of the end zone that looked like it was out of bounds, but Dwight Clark made a giant leaping catch with his fingertips, even though he was covered by Everson Walls, and led it inbounds to score with 51 seconds left. It was amazing that Clark could do such a thing. He needed all his length at 6'4" to catch the ball. So the score was 28-27 for the Niners. But there's one tiny little problem. The game was not over. There was still time. Dallas had 51 seconds to move the ball. Wershing made a squib kick, and Dallas recovered at their 25. So they had to go 75 yards for a touchdown. Or basically to get in possession for Septien's foot. Anyway, God drew Pearson for a reception, giving the Cowboys the ball over the midfield line and reaching 10 to 15 yards to get in Septien's range. However, Pearson would have made an amazing touchdown play if it wasn't for Eric Wright of the Niners making a one-handed horse collar tackle. The horse collar is when you tackle around the collarbone or by the neck. Now remember, this was legal at the time. White would take the first down snap and was sacked by Lawrence Pillars. He would fumble in the process, giving the Niners the ball as Jim Stuckey got the ball, and the game was over. It was amazing and all that. That Dwight Clark would do such a thing like that. Of course, Clark famously passed away in 2020. I feel bad for him. It was weird and all that. Spin Scully's call. Montana, looking. Throwing in the end zone. Clark got it. Dwight Clark. It's a madhouse at Candlestick. And that was a huge play and all that. There's a lot of legacy to the catch and all that. This actually was a game that would tell of the two franchises' fortunes. San Francisco would go on to win Super Bowl 16, 26-21 against the Bengals, including that famous Dan Buns tackle to ruin the Bengals' chances and make it one of the greatest goal line stands of all time. The Niners would make the playoffs 8 of the next 10 seasons and win 3 more Super Bowls in the 80s, becoming the best dynasty of the 80s. And Joe Montana would gain a reputation for his last-minute heroics and be named to the Pro Football Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility, 2000. Unfortunately, Dallas would suffer a massive reversal of fortune. Despite they had lost their second straight NFC title game. They lost to the Eagles, the freaking Eagles, the year before. And then the next year, they did make the NFC title game, but they were shocked by the Skins, 31-17. Dallas had a run of 10 of 13 seasons being in the conference championship, and Danny White always drew criticism for not winning the big game. But I guess people when you compare him to Staubach, things are different. The Cowboys did make a couple of playoffs in the 80s, but other than that, nothing. The Cowboys would be basically a shell of themselves. Tom Landry would be fired in the 88 season because of Jerry Jones' wanting his coach. University of Miami coach and former Razorback, Jimmy Johnson. Thankfully, though, Dallas, even though they went 1-15, actually built up through the draft and keen, clever trades, especially with the Herschel Walker trade, to win 3 Super Bowls in the 1990s. And the Cowboys would get revenge on the Niners when they got to Super Bowl 27 and 28. That they beat the Niners in the process. So, yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of legacy and all that. Tom Brady, who idolized Montana, was a 4-year-old and aspired to be a Niner. Of course, San Francisco decided to go with Giovanni Carmazzi instead of Tom Brady. Well, would have been. Yeah, Tom Brady was at that game. Amazing. There's actually a statue outside Levi Stadium where the Niners played depicting the catch. All that. And of course, Clemson fans would take a lot of pictures of Clark's statue because the national championship was held at Levi Stadium in San Francisco, and Dwight Clark was a former Clemson Tiger. In fact, the one of the list of the 100 greatest plays of all time, that the catch was number 2. I forgot what number 1 was, but anyway, this was amazing. This was the final football game that Vin Scully would call play-by-play. And I believe he left CBS because, if memory serves me right, in '83, NBC got the baseball rights. Well, NBC got the game of the week, and Vin Scully was the voice of the game of the week, the Saturday game of the week for a lot of them. So Vin Scully would move on to NBC. All that. However, Pat Summerall would become a very good play-by-play guy. All that. Anyway, it was huge and all that. But it actually made the catch 2 and the catch 3. The catch 2 was Terrell Owens, after dropping so many balls. It was not even funny. He caught a touchdown pass from Steve Young with 3 seconds left in the wildcard round for the Niners to beat the Packers. Unfortunately, that's controversial because of the fumble that was not seen. Jerry Rice fumbled the ball before his knee touched the ground. But unfortunately, there was no instant replay. And so, and the catch 3 was when Alex Smith got it to Vernon Davis with 9 seconds left in the divisional round in 2011 against the Saints. So, just so you know. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.